Hey, Shalom, Akim, Shalom. First thing and foremost, I'm going to give all praises and glory and honor that's due to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone and Ruwell. Blessings and salutations to the hopeful elect. It was in the gospel brought, lifting up the standard of Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, wherever it may be. This is a quick lesson through the Spirit. Lord's will it be edifying. Apostle Tahar made a very important statement and it really stood out. He was going into this Paul Kersey guy on how, speaking on 100% truth, and sometimes you got to work with what you have, and that it's a lot of men in this faith that just here because they're here. Okay, the scriptures say many are called, but few are chosen, and that's scary because he said the elect, the 144,000, that's a small number, man. Okay. 144,000 prophets, that's a relatively small number to the millions of Israelites that's out there and to the billions of people that this truth have been preached to that are Israelites. And counting the cost, okay? Because you got several camps out here. You have a lot of members. You got men that go out week in and week out, putting their best foot forward. Then you got those that it's kind of idle, that do the bare minimum. Then you got those that don't do shit. Then you got those that's doing the work, but not necessarily may not make it. Okay, so that really, that made me think. I'm like, damn, this thing is really real because, hey, what Paul said, he says, look, I've counted the cost, roughly paraphrased. He said, I finished my course. I'm ready now and up to be offered. I believe Paul made a statement when he's done everything he had to do for the Lord, and now his time of departure was at hand. So he said, look, man, I've finished, I fought the good fight, and doing the work of the Most High, rightly dividing the word of truth. So it also tell you we can't make ourselves of that number because we say we're the hopeful elect. Okay, we are the hopeful elect, but doesn't mean that we are the elect, but put on the elect. Okay, because, hey, this thing is all predetermined by Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai. And if the Lord didn't call your number into the book of life, then there's no way in hell you could make it into the kingdom, because the scriptures say narrow is the way, but broad is the way that leadeth to destruction. Okay, second Esdras, the 7th chapter, when it goes into basically the straight gate, entering ye in at the straight gate. Okay, and also it goes into how the world, this world is made for many, but the world to come is made for few. Okay, because all Israel is not going to make it. And it's a scary thing because you got diligent brothers out there. You got diligent brothers that's doing the work, and it's all the fight. It's all the fight, brothers, man. And this is what keeps us humble, because the Lord knows who's chosen, but we don't know. And that's what keeps us fighting and putting our best foot forward. Because if the Lord want to get rid of you, he's going to put certain things in front of your walk to get your ass up out of here. Okay, and that's anybody. That's myself, brothers in the camp, apostles, anybody, because he made a very important statement again, and I'm gonna repeat it. Matter of fact, he said the 144,000 is a small number. He said, well, look, what if we all went back into the world and you had 3 men in GMS that was the only ones left? Are y'all gonna continue to teach? And it's easy to say, well, yeah, I'm gonna teach, but that's when your integrity comes down to hand. Because what if you just out here to be seen of men? Because he made a point. He said, because this thing is very popular. But when it wasn't sexy, nobody was trying to come into the truth. Nobody was trying to go out there and put their life on the line, man. But it's something in your spirit that compels you to believe in this thing. But once again, many are called, few are chosen. So we can't take this thing for granted, man. We can't be sitting here with our hands in our pockets thinking we of the Lord's elect, and we ain't even putting our best foot forward. Okay, this is a lifestyle. This is a mindset. This is a spiritual thing, and it's going to be a lot of Israelites is going to be disappointed. And I pray to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, I'm not one of those, man. Like guys, they fell out. Like I know a handful of guys, that I came up with that fell out. Okay, it was fire. Everybody loved them. These men were impressionable. They knew the precepts. They went out to the camp every week. They cursed out the white man, and all of a sudden, these guys, they ain't around no more. Okay, definitely not on the streets. Okay, whether they've been reduced to some Facebook prophets or some internet prophets, who knows? I mean, only the Lord knows, or brothers that follow these guys know. But overall, they're not on the streets and they're not adhering to the standard that was once taught to them. That's a scary thing. The Lord can take your spirit away any moment. That's why it behooves us to remain humble and to stay the course and pray to the Lord that we're written in the book of life. Because somebody got to be the elect and somebody ain't the elect. And honestly speaking, I'm not trying to fall in the latter category of not being of the elect. Okay, so let's get the first precept. This is 2 Peter 1:10. It says, wherefore the brethren, give diligence to make your calling and election sure. For if you do these things, ye should never fail. Okay, so the scriptures give you primary contexts on what to do to make it. Okay, it tells you straightforward, he endured to the end, the same should be saved. And you're like, oh, okay, that's easy. The only thing I got to do is keep teaching, keep believing. Yeah, but you have to understand that certain adversities come upon your life that you may not be able to deal with, man. Let's just say the death of a loved one, or your child end up giving up the spirit who you were very closely acclimated with, and all of a sudden that just weakens your spirit to the point you don't even want to go out no more because you're paralyzed with pain and hurt and resentment to the Lord. Okay, you're just paralyzed with straight up just sorrow to the point you're feeble, you don't have any strength left to keep going. Okay, same thing, brothers and fell out the truth over women. They loved so much and the woman left them for another dude, and brother got weak and say, you know what, the fuck this shit. Some brothers fell out because the Lord took possessions from them. You know, destroyed their life, lost their jobs, their homes, their cars, their finances, their families, man. Certain men were just like, I can't deal with this. So the Lord, if he really wants you out of here, he will set up certain shit in your life that'll get you out of here, man, okay? So you got to count the cost, man, okay? And especially if you catching hell and the Lord is taking things from you that you genuinely have an interest in and you're still pushing, that's oftentimes a good sign, okay? Because it's just like, okay, what else you going to take from me? My life? Okay, so if the Lord is taking things from brothers and putting brothers in bad predicaments and they still believe in pushing forth, that's often a good indicator that the Lord can carry you through this thing. But if you bugging out over small shit, man, you know, and I'm not saying like losing children, that's not a small thing. I mean, losing a wife, I mean, shit, honestly speaking, that's relatively small because the women are completely out of order. Okay, and it's just what it is. Shit, the Lord took Ezekiel's wife and he told him to go out there. He said, you ain't got time to cry or mourn for her. Go out there and teach. Okay, and that was in an ancient world when women were actually in order, you know? And that was pretty heavy because at that time women had some substance to them. But nowadays it's just like, okay, you meet a bitch, you fall in love with her, you know what I'm saying? And then all of a sudden she leaves you for another guy. Okay, yeah, it may be devastating. We're not saying that it's not. You know, we're men, you know, we have feelings, emotions. It will hurt. But eventually you have to overcome it, man. Like I always say, let the pain be your strength. That was always one of my key components of overcoming any hardship I've ever done with. I look at something that hurted me so bad and I allow it to make me angry. So I can have a point to keep pushing. Just like in boxing, you got to love to get punched so you can continue to make it through the round, you know? And that's how you get over shit when you think about it and you fathom and like, okay, you know what? This is fucked up. All right. You know, when you pissed off, it's like you got a point to prove. And may not be the best example, but honestly speaking, you know, you have to be in that I have a point to prove spirit in this truth to get your ass up out of here, man. And I'm not saying, oh, I got a point to prove it's being pompous, but no, man, like a point, like you got to let that be your motivation. Prime example, right? One of my movies as a kid, one of my favorite movies, first Mortal Kombat movie, right? I always reference this movie. My man Liu Kang, right? The champion, right? The Bruce Lee of the Mortal Kombat universe. He had no desire to fight in a tournament, but the Lord was so cold. Lord was like, nigga, you gonna fight in this tournament. Because he fled to America. He left his responsibility. He pulled the Jonah because he was brought up. He was trained specifically to defend Earth Realm in this tournament. Okay, they had 10 tournaments in order for Shao Kahn to take over and invade Earth. If they lost that 10th tournament, which was the first Mortal Kombat tournament, then Shao Kahn would have invaded the Earth and he would have enslaved humanity. Liu Kang ran from that. Like, nah, I'm not dealing with that. I'm cool. This is bullshit. It's a myth. I don't believe it, man. You got me training for nothing. This is folly. So he fled to America. So the Lord wrapped his little brother up in the hands of Shang Tsung, which is he's basically a demigod. Okay, he's a shapeshifter. He's a sorcerer, powerful being, right? So Liu Kang's brother went up against Shang Tsung and got put to death, and that drew Liu Kang's fire to enter the tournament, and ultimately that motivation prevailed him over Shang Tsung because he was so infuriated by losing his brother, because he was like, this should have been me, not him. And he used that to make him get over his fear of fighting in a tournament, and he prevailed through every fight. I mean, like, he really dominated and won. You know what I'm saying? So that's the mentality I use when I'm going through shit, and I allow it to continue to build me up, you know, which is a powerful mindset. And it's something that's given. It's developed, but it's a gift, you know, and a lot of brothers have that. Okay, so going to this precept here, this is the book of Matthew 20, and this whole chapter is good. So we can start at 1. I'm gonna jump around a little bit, but it says, "For the kingdom of heaven is like unto a man that is a householder, that went out early in the morning to hire laborers into his vineyard." Okay, then the scriptures say, "Go out there and compel them to come in." Okay, because right now we are the kingdom. It starts with us first, but we're building it up. This spiritual temple, this spiritual aspect of the kingdom of heaven is being built up through the men that you see. Okay, but even then, you got high prolific architects or master builders that start off on a job and they get fired. Okay, and these men were good builders. They came up with design plans. They can read blueprints. You know, they understood architecture. They understood graphic design, how to put things through software programs. And, you know, a lot of these men got fired, okay, because they felt like the pay wasn't good enough. They felt it was too big for their bridges. They oftentimes went to a different company, etc. And that's the same thing in this truth. You have heavy hitters in this truth, man. Okay, you got men of renowned name in this truth that when you speak their name, you just know it rings bells in the heavens. But a lot, but shit, man. And then something happened and they fall by the wayside. Okay, Mark 4, some fell upon stony ground. That's a good parable. All right, and it says, "And when they had agreed with the laborers for a penny a day, he sent them into his vineyard." So the Lord was like, "Look, man, this is the pay. Y'all go out there, you teach, you endure whatever bullshit comes, and hey, you're gonna get the kingdom." They're like, okay, cool. All right, and it says, "And he went out the third hour and saw others standing idle in a marketplace." Okay, and you got idle men in this thing. Okay, as scary as it is for men that's doing the work, that's making a calling and election sure, that's being hella diligent on fire for this thing, but you got men that's being idle. That's a bad sign, man. Okay, especially when you're not learning from the fear of other men that's actually teaching and doing the work. Like, what compels Apostle Tahar to keep going is his fear for the Lord, man. Same thing with the other apostles, from Apostle Rayamla, from Apostle Wakar, from Apostle Gabar, on down to the elders, the bishops, the camp heads. We keep going, you know, and I say they keep going because I don't want to put myself in unison with great men, you know, but I'm just trying to be humble. But regardless of it, every brother you see in this thing that's sincere, because I like to, you know I'm definitely sincere in this thing, and that's something that that just proven through the works. It ain't something I gotta, "Well, I'm sincere, brother." No, I ain't gotta tell nobody shit. It speaks for itself. But regardless of that, these men are compelled, or we're compelled, through the fear of Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai. Okay, that's why they're constantly doing the shows, because Apostle Dahar could have said, "You know what, I'm done with this shit. I ain't gotta do nothing else." But he didn't do that because, hey, ultimately he understands that, look, there's no guarantee he's gonna get on a ship. Okay, and let's say if he didn't get on a ship, or let's just say if he did fall out, which that's highly unlikely, the type of spirit he have. But let's just say if he did, you know how much that will shake this thing up, man. You know how many people will fall behind that. If Apostle Dahar say, "You know what, fuck this Israelite shit, I'm going back in the world," you know, that would literally shake the foundation of this Israelite thing, man. People will literally get afraid. It's to the point brothers will literally fly out there to find him to beat him back in his truth, man, you know. But it's a scary thing, okay, because we just don't know. And it says here, "And he said unto them, Go ye also into the vineyard, and whatsoever is right I will give you. And they went their way. And he went out again in the 6th and 9th hour and did likewise." Okay, and these represents the different time periods that brothers came in, because the 2007 time period, which we call the Great Awakening, then you had another slew of brothers that came in every year after that. But for whatever reason, after the 2000 thing, a lot of men fell out. But just as many men that fell out, the Lord increased it manifold in 2007. And then 2011, a lot of brothers came in, including myself. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of brothers came in. So and it's a lot of brothers. Okay. But it says it says here, in the 11th hour he went out and found others standing idle, and said it to them, why ye stand here all day idle? Okay. And they said to him, because no man have hired us. And he said it to them, go ye also in the vineyard, and whatsoever is right that ye should receive. Okay. And the thing of it is, even though you got men that's hired, you got men that's idle. Okay. Like, you know, the apostles always went into, you got men with their hands in their pockets. You got men that was idle, that's been hired. And what happens when you want a job and Esau catches you being idle? You know, he gonna fire your ass. And you know, we Jakes, we like the bullshit. We don't like to work as hard as it ever, you know, we like to try to wing it and get the money and do, which, you know, in this society is unrighteous. So, you know, you give what you get. But regardless of that, in the Lord's business, you have to really be on fire for this thing. Just because like I said, there's no guarantee. And it says, so when even was come, the Lord of the vineyard said it to his steward, call the laborers and give them their hire, beginning from the last unto the first. Meaning their money, okay? Their money, their reward. Because the Lord is not unrighteous like that. You think he's going to have us doing his work, busting our ass, and then we ain't got nothing to pay show for it? Fuck no. That ain't how the Lord gets down. Okay? Because right now it's all good and dandy. Ain't nothing happening for real. But when the test of your faith comes, that's when a lot of men are going to get weak. They're going to get shook into their core because they haven't been up against this type of adversity. On top of that, they're not rooted. Okay, being rooted. And that's something we have to really ask ourselves. Are we truly rooted in this thing? Okay, are we truly rooted? Which one of you brothers have had somebody that actually come up and try to take your life, or been in life-threatening situations that you actually walked away from and you shouldn't have walked away from it? Now, brothers can answer that question, okay? But it's brothers that can answer that question. And I'm not saying that makes you a man of the Lord because you've been in a life or death situation. But the point I'm making is this: being solidified and grounded in what you believe in, man. And that's something that comes with prayer, something that comes with faith, man. And as you pray for those things, the Lord is going to test your chin, man. Don't think you're going to pray for that and he just going to sprinkle some fucking prophet dust on you and all of a sudden you're going to be this great unmovable rock. No. He's going to put you through shit to test you out, man. It's just like, okay, you want to be a fighter then? Hey, what Rocky tell Creed? He said, well, I don't know if you special, you know, only you knows that. He told him that. You know, and he told him you got to give it all you got, because it's like, I'm not going to waste my time if you're not trying to do this thing. So prepare for adversity, man. I'm telling myself this shit. I'm telling myself prepare for more adversity, because it's just certain shit that make you tremble like, whoa, shit. You know, somebody trying to knock your head off or take your head off. That ain't nothing to be, that ain't a light thing, man. You know? And it reads here, and they came that were hired about the 11th hour, and they received every man a penny. But when the first came, they supposed that they should have received more. And they likewise received every man a penny, right? Because you got ungrateful jakes in this thing. Like the brother, Elder Pastor Tahar, broke down the whole concept of Batak. Okay, the ex-GMS Chicago head. This is before Elder Malcolm Wood took over, because him and Batak, you know, they was on fire out there, man. This is before that dude, Micah Allah, which was the former head prior to Elder Malcolm, that was the head of Chicago, which had a dude by the name of Batak. I think Batak came in about 2007 or 2008, if I'm not mistaken. I wasn't around when Batak came, but as I came in, I think he was already kind of gone or getting up out of there. Because when I came in, Micah Allah was the head of GMS Chicago. Okay, which, you know, that guy, and I ain't gonna really speak on it too much, but he didn't put his best foot forward, man. You know, he should have checked Nazariah a long time ago, because I'm like, you the camp head. Why you letting this young nigga sit up here and run your fucking camp, man? being just straight up docile, sitting with your hands in your pocket. And Micah Allah, man, he was a beast with them scripts, man. He was kind of like a Yaradon almost, man, but he was played a little bit more humble than that. Very studious when it came to the understanding of the knowledge. But yet, you let Nazariah and Taziadia and all them other guys, man, come and pretty much break things up and start confusion among the camp. Micah Allah should have checked that shit. And even then, after Micah Allah got kicked out or left, I think he left, if I'm not mistaken. I ain't going to speak on what I don't know too much, but even then when he left or whatever, however it happened, he should have just went out there and continued to teach the word, because it wasn't like that he didn't have the knowledge. But see, this proves that this ain't of us, okay? Because the Lord puts a certain spirit on men to totally disappear. Same thing with Yaradon. You would think how charismatic Yaradon was. That nigga have a whole fucking state to himself, because that's how cold he was with them scripts. But hey, the Lord took the spirit off that guy, and he's going to have a horrible death, man, unless he repent. He tried it for a minute, but hey, it didn't go nowhere. You see? Scary thing. And it says here, when they had received it, they murmured against the good men of the house, saying, these lads have wrought but 1 hour, and thou hast made them equal unto us, which have borne the burden in the heat of the day. Now, let's say if Apostle Tahar cursed out Yahushua and say, man, this nigga only been in the truth 2 years. How the fuck he gonna get the kingdom? And I've been in this thing 30 plus years. That's wicked. But you notice the apostles never say that, man. They don't never go into that, because they understand this parable right here. But you got men in this thing that didn't understand that parable, and a lot of men thought they was too big for their bridges. Now where are they? Where are they at right now? Okay, they ain't know if they're on the streets teaching. Okay, they scoffing. Somewhere probably dead, jacked up in prison, homeless on the fucking bridge, getting ready to give up the ghost. And a lot of them, they just went back into the world and became straight niggas. And that's the case for a lot of these dudes, man, because they were murmuring against the Most High. Saying, oh, man, this nigga, man, I ain't with this. I've been in truth 12 years, and this pup, he just come in and all of a sudden now he gets the kingdom. Nah, that's a selfish mindset. You should be happy brothers are coming in and help you with the labors, because we all enter to other men's labors. Okay? Because you don't know what that man was in a previous life. That man could have been one of the mighty men of Yahushua in the ancient world. Because remember, your works do follow you, man, through your lifetimes. So just because a brother came in this thing before the missiles hit, he could have been a very minor or a major. He could have been any prophet in the ancient world that actually went through a lot of shit, man. Okay, see, Jake don't count the cost. And it says, but he answered one of them and said, friend, I do thee no wrong. Did thou agree with me for a penny? So he was like, didn't you sign the contract? Did you sign up for this? So whether you came in 30 years or you came in a day, you're going to get the same reward. Now, of course, there will be levels to this thing. You're going to have the Lord's men that's going to get their blessings, like the apostles. And so, of course, they're going to get their blessings. It's going to be an order. But Yahushua didn't even get his payback yet. So it will be an order, but regardless of that, we all gonna get the kingdom, man. I can't scoff a brother because he came in 5 years after I did, and he's gonna get the kingdom. No, that's a beautiful thing. That's how the Lord works. Okay, because you were required to work that long in order to wake these men up, man. That's why the Lord had it that way. So you don't understand the type of work you are engaging in, man. And being grateful. You see, and it reads here. It says, but take that thine is and go thy way, and I will give unto the last, even as unto thee. It says, it is not lawful for me to do that I will with my own. It says, is thine eye evil because I am good? So he like, I can do what the fuck I want to do. All right. If you don't like it, then bounce. And it says, so shall the last be first and the first be last. For many should be called, but few are chosen. And that's the point I wanted to make, man. Many are called, but few are chosen. So many guys in this truth, man. You got men that's been in the truth 20, 30 years. Johanna's been in the truth over 30 some years. But look at the rate he's going. Okay. And he's not exemplifying his actions or his behaviors as being a man or a prophet of the Lord, which is a scary thing, because you got men, what it say, reprobate. You see? All right. So let's go from here to the book of Luke 14. And I'm going to start at verses. Let's start at verses 27. It says, and whosoever doth not bear his cross and come after me cannot be my disciple. So you got to count the cost, man. Okay, you have to bear your cross. You got to go through you got to get your stripes, so to speak. You know what I'm saying? You got to be able to withstand everything that you go through, and you can't let anything break your faith, man. And like I said, it's going to be so much easier said than done, because Esau is going to come at us with all types of angles. He's going to use things against us that touches us, man. You know, like I said, if brothers are completely acclimated with their kids or whatever, he will use them. So the best repellent for that is not being attached to shit, man. Like when you have a man that have nothing to lose, then it ain't nothing he can threaten you with. And you got to be in that spirit of, I ain't got shit to lose, man. Okay, what he's going to do? Take your body? And you got to be in that spirit. Like, I ain't got nothing to lose. You got a woman? Hey, I ain't got shit to lose. You got a kid? I ain't got nothing to lose. Because remember the promise. Lord said those that forsook families will receive 100-fold. So really, we ain't got nothing to lose here, man. But this fucked up ass life, which the scripture said that they love not their lives unto death. You see? And it says here, for which of you attending to build a tower, sitting not down first and counted the cost, whether you have sufficient to finish it? So did you really think about this thing, man? Did you really come into it because of popularity? Or because you thought it was going to give you a bunch of bad Israelite women? Or you think it was going to give you a lot of money or clout with the congregation? Fuck no, because the average prophet, they didn't want to be in this. Like me personally, I was kind of, I ain't gonna say I was suckered into it, but I was kind of just, I ain't gonna say forced into it, but it just kind of snuck up on me. And I just thought I did what I had to do. And after a while, I got scared and I ran. I'm like, nah. And I guess I was trying to live out the last few moments of my life, but the Spirit literally did this. Like, Spirit just like came to me in the room like, hey, man, go back around them brothers. That's what the Spirit of the Lord told me. But I fucking did a Jonah. I'm like, man, the elder brother Uriah called me. I didn't answer the phone for a couple of weeks, man. I'm like, man, I don't know about this. You know, he like, it's going to pay off, man. I promise you. And I remember the voicemail like yesterday. He left it back in May or like June of 2011, man, because I came around the Passover time, which was in March that year. And I was around going to class and stuff like that. And he kept saying, I want to bring you downtown and introduce you to some brothers. I'm like, the fuck we need to go downtown for? I didn't know that he went on the streets and speak. But then when I finally realized what he was talking about, I was like, oh, okay. And then I kind of disappeared for a couple of months, man. But I was still watching the videos, still, you know, studying and stuff like that. And, you know, still keeping in contact from time to time. And then he like, you going to come back around on what? I'm like, man, if the Spirit allowed me to do it, because I didn't really go nowhere. I just stopped kind of going around the brothers. I had to let shit marinate because I was like, I didn't know. Then the Lord, you know, he was putting me through some shit. And then the Spirit came to me like, go back around there. You see what I'm saying? So it was just kind of like that. It wasn't, oh, I wanted to be pop. It wasn't a popular thing then, man. When I was first on the line, I was holding posts, man. I had the America's Gonna Be Destroyed sign in my hand. I was trying to hide my face because people was like, what if somebody noticed me doing this shit? So I was like, I wasn't ready. I wasn't ready for it, you know. It was just one of them things like, I don't know, you know. I was kind of embarrassed a little bit because I'm like, I got these garments on. People may see me, you know what I'm saying? And it's real nerve-wracking. But once you got the feel for it, I'm like, man, this is where I belong. And now it's natural now, man. You know, and that's a hell of a testimony. You know, and that's oftentimes good indicators that the Lord is want to use a brother for something. Whether, you know, he chooses to deliver me or not, I believe the Lord uses brothers like myself and other brothers to do things, you know, until he sees fit. And I pray that he continues to use me for wherever he sees fits. And I pray that he brings us all through this thing, those of us that are sincere. And that's just real talk. You know, but it says here, as happily as he have laid the foundation and is not able to finish it, all that behold it began to mock him. So, hey, when you fall out, this is the reason why you get videos done on your ass, man. This is the reason why you get cursed out. Because, hey, you came in here, you big and strong. I'm Nazariah, I'm this, I'm that. And then all of a sudden, your ass is reduced to a fucking Wendy Williams show. That's something to scoff at, man. That's something to get your ass mocked. Okay? And it says, saying, this man began to build and was not able to finish. It says, and that's the point I want to make. So, hey, man, that's another precept here. Second Ezra 8:1, it says, and he answered me, saying, the Most High have made this world for many, but the world to come for few. Okay? That's the point. Narrow is the path. Nope. Narrow is the way. Gate. Into the straight gate. Yep, Matthew 7:14. I'm going to start at verses 13. It says, enter ye in at the straight gate, for wide is the gate, and broad is the way that leadeth to destruction. It's easy to fall out. It's easy to get caught up. That's why we did a lesson on keeping your head on a spiritual swivel. Sometimes men are deceived by their own vain opinion. A lot of men think they're in the truth, and they're really not. They're just going through the motions. Got to examine yourself, man, and ask yourself, are you really in this thing, or you just going through the motions until shit gets bad, and then you like, you know what, I can't deal with it anymore. Because like I said, the Most High, he's getting ready to test our chin, man. Straight up. He's getting ready to like watch the movie Baby Boy when he lined them little niggas up and he was knocking all their ass out. You know, it's getting ready to be a scene like that. But it says here, because straight is the gate and narrow is the way which leadeth to life, and there be few that find it. It says few. So it's going to get real, man. A lot of men are going to start to falter once this MOTB is made mandatory and they start taking things from brothers or men. Okay, because a brother ain't going to fall out. A nigga will. But when they start taking things from us and putting us on the chopping block and demonizing us, and people you once cared about was coming against you, trying to give you up, it's going to be some very intensified shit to the flesh, man. You got to ask yourself, are you going to put your faith in the Lord, or you going to fall out? So it's something to really think about, man. It's not a light thing by far. But yeah, brothers, I want to give all praises and glory and honor that's due to Yahweh Bashim Yahushai Bashim Rakakodash. Double honors to the apostles and elders, a great millstone, and blessings and salutations to the hopeful elect. And with that, Lord's will you were edified. This lesson reached you, whoever it needs to reach, and may it build you up in the spirit. And with that, shalom and a baba ball.